In Islamic history, they make infidels pay jizyah, which is extra tax, right?
It's not extra tax. Can you tell me what the jizyah is?
Huh?
Well, it is a tax on infidels, isn't it?
What kind of tax? And why is it applied?
It is a tax levied on infidels, right?
Not right. That's incorrect.
What part of my definition is wrong?
You just said who needs to pay the jizya, but you're not saying why they need to pay the jizya and under what context or how much it is the jizya. Do you know about the jizya or you don't know? It's a very simple
Okay,
question.
I know.
Yes or no? You know. Okay, so why do they pay the jizya?
Because they are infidels, aren't they?
No, that's wrong. So you don't know. So you are ignorant, clearly. And not only ignorant, but you have what we call compounded ignorance. So you are the worst category possible of people when it comes to knowledge. There's a knowledgeable category, someone who knows what they're talking about, which clearly isn't you. And there's a middle category, which is people who are ignorant. And these people are humble, so they ask for information. Please, can you teach me about this? And that's clearly also not you, because you're not humble. You are in the compounded ignorance category. First, you need to educate them that they don't know what they're talking about. Then you need to teach them, even though they're arrogant and refusing to accept that they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Allah Azza wa Jal mentions the jizya in the Quran, in chapter 9 of the Quran. It's a tax for specific type of people. Who are those people? They are the military-aged male combatants. So children, women, old people who are poor, who have no money, anyone who has zero money to pay, anyone who's like, let's say, a priest or a monk who doesn't work, all of these categories of people are exempt from the jizya. Why do they pay the tax? Because it's a tax of protection. So if a war happens, Muslims will go and fight and die for those non-Muslims who will be safely in the Muslim land while Muslims are fighting on their behalf to protect them. The jizya, though, is the tax which is limited and it's specific. The jizya can be 1 dinar, 2 dinar, 3 dinar, depending on the school of thought of the judge that is going to apply the jizya and the Islamic ruling, which is very, very small amount of money. Now, Muslims, on the other hand, have to pay 2.5% of their wealth yearly, and this 2.5% is dependent on your wealth. If you have a lot of money, it'll be 2.5%. It can be millions. Not only that, they're going to fight also. So it's not only that they're paying 2.5% of zakah, which is going to the House of the State Affairs to improve the state, which the non-Muslim who's living there is also benefiting from. And that's why the Jewish people, for example, who were running away from Christians like yourself from the Crusades, and they went to Morocco and they begged, please let us pay the jizya, because you know the jizya is a very small amount of money. The only military age combatants will pay and take us in and protect us. So this jizya that you keep talking about is the most merciful command that you can find in an Islamic state. On the other hand, when Christians went into a land, what they did is they plundered the land, took everything in the land, as it mentioned in Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 10. The Bible explicitly mentions and teaches, if you go and you conquer a city or take over a city or siege a city and take it, you take all of the goods in it for yourself. So if you want to talk about what happens in war, I think you should start with your book and what your book teaches that you need to do to people before you talk about the jizya.